Whoops. I had my mic muted. Classic Dean. Hello everybody and welcome to today's Stationeers stream. I'm just going to verify the game. We're going to be playing it in multiplayer on stream with the testers, with some of the team. So I'm just going to tweet it out. As we're going along, if you have questions, you can post them in there, and Steph, who's our producer, will relay them to us, and we'll, as we go through, we'll basically try and get a chance to answer them. And yeah, I have to tweet it out, don't I? Live now. So today we're probably going to actually just show off a mothership that we've been building for quite a while now, actually over the week, and so it gives you a good idea of basically what you can do with the game, and basically that core game loop that we're looking for, because that's, I guess, been the really important thing. Sort of exactly what do we want to have for the for that game loop. I just have to figure out how to pop out my chat. Pop out, there we go. Okay, I'm all validated, so I will run up. And we've got Aaron. Aaron, you on TeamSpeak?
Yes.
Aaron is with us. We've got Dylan. Dylan just arrived.
Dylan.
Say hi, Dylan.
Hi, Dylan.
He said hi, Dylan. Such a character. Oh, and we got Sean. We got Sean as well. Okay, I can stop the moody music now. In fact, I'll like fade it out. Oh, that was a sweet fade. I could be a DJ. Right. So I need to load. Fingers crossed. Drum roll, please. So, let me introduce you to the Dylan. What are we naming it? He said pass. The HMS pass. So, this ship, I'll just turn on. We did start remodeling it. So we initially built it and then we started remodeling it. And, you know, like all remodels, okay, so what happened was Mason got drunk while we were doing the remodel, and then he cut a hole in the ship, and we ended up losing a bunch of atmosphere. So while the walls were cut up, we decided to redo a whole bunch of the wiring. So the wiring kind of makes no sense. The yellow was supposed to be towards our area power controllers, which are here, which I think I showed in a previous stream. So you can see basically the area power controller in here, and it has a battery. These switches on the left do nothing, but these ones do stuff. But oh dear. Oh, I did get to show off a little feature there that's new. So basically, if you deconstruct something, it puts the material in your hand. We did a whole bunch of quality life and bug improvements. Over there is Dylan's station that he was building. Oh, someone's on the ship. Who's this?
Well, hello there, sir.
You want to give us a wave, Aaron? Hi. Nice beard, buddy. So yeah, I'll do a bit of a show from outside. Oh, I have no waste tanks, so let's put that in there. I can open the mask. Oh, and Steph is now our you have like audio things, like audio cues for warnings and stuff like that. Hi Simon, hi Zia. You what? Holy crap, Zia and Simon bought pancakes. It's a party, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a Stellar Anchor, or Stanker as it's affectionately known on the team. So I'll cover that off later, but we'll go outside. So we're pretty proud of this. Another change we made, and this was due to popular request, with airlocks you used to have to slave consoles to access it, but now you can actually just use the keypad and it routes it through. Oh, so I need to close my mask. So you can see now it's sucking it out, and as the atmosphere is being sucked out, the sounds mute. So this is our beautiful ship. So it's looking pretty cool. We've got turrets in there, got lots of big engines, and Dylan had been working on a, oh, we've got a null ref. What's this for?
That looked like me joining.
Oh, that's the stop render. Awesome. That's good. I've been wanting to capture that bug.
Yeah, that's good.
Open me log file there and grab it. That's really good because I'd been meaning to capture that one for a while.
It didn't fail me joining this. I do it to get in.
Yeah, it's the renderer. So for those watching, like, we've really tried to aggressively get a good frame rate. So we do a lot of aggressive culling, and I actually fixed a major bug in this. So what was previously happening is, even though we're occluding stuff, we were never actually turning off lights, and I fixed that last night. So this is how we're able to get pretty good frame rate, even though there's a heck of a lot of stuff happening, was basically by doing this. So yeah, someone in the chat is bringing up good points. You know, what is the purpose of having this ship? And this would be reasonably big. I don't think our starting ships will be this big, but the idea is that you will start off the game with a small ship that's been made, you know, smaller than this, maybe even a starting station. We might have a couple of starts that are like crash on a planet, and you'll go off and do like away missions. You'll go do salvage missions, you'll go do rescue missions, all sorts of sort of stuff like that. And then basically you'll over time increase the size of your ship. You'll build a base in here. Yeah, all sorts of stuff like that.
0G.
0G. So I guess one of the big questions we often get is, you know, how the game is different. The new icons do look great. I think so as well. Well done, Sean. Let's give him a clap, chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do look really good. Closets and lockers, yeah, I can show that. But so the engines, you have both power and data ports, and at the moment we've been lazy and we've connected them all together. If we're going to do a refurb, we probably want to individually wire the engine's data ports to our command share, so that we can run separate power networks, because we're not doing that at the moment, and that might be something that's quite useful. Yeah, so there's that, and then obviously the fuel mix, you know, a custom like fuel mix as well. So the engines are obviously not doing anything. Could someone turn off the stellar anchor?
Sure.
And could another person go get into the command seat in the front of the ship?
Sure. Anchor's off. I'm in the chair.
Is that you, Sean?
Yeah.
In the chair?
No, that's
Oh,
me.
no.
Oh, right. Your character was being jerky movement. I actually wondered, did you get a... Oh, that doesn't matter anyway. Cool, so stellar anchor is off.
Yep.
Aaron, do you want to try just thrusting up? Cool. And thrust down. Just like, give it like a poop. Yeah.
Is that
So
control
yep.
or C?
Yep, no, you're good. So you stop. Now hold down home until your pressure increases. So what Aaron's going to do now is he's going to add more thrust to the
Home
to
takes
the
my
engines.
UI away.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. So yeah, just maybe someone so try pushing forward as well, the forward key W. So basically, see how that's blue? That's because we're running a really efficient fuel mix in. And you can actually see the little particles down here, and if I stand in here, can you push up again, space? So you can see up here, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of heat and stuff like that. Obviously at the moment we don't have that, you know, that stuff too modeled. So, banging into stuff. At the moment you can't get burned by the engines. If you're not wearing a suit though, your atmosphere, so if I open my thing, so you can see I have pressure, critical problems and stuff. Could someone turn on the stellar anchor again?
Yeah, I'll go do it.
So, you know, you can actually walk around while the ship is moving and all sorts of stuff like that.
That's on.
So that's the Stellar Anchor there. Yeah, so there's been quite a few new improvements. What I might look at doing now is actually start on on something we do need for the ship, which is basically you can see in the top right there's an external temperature. Aaron, do you want to bring... who's that coming down the stairs there?
Well, hello.
Try logging out and logging back in. Your character's being kind of jerky. Oh, no, actually...
What?
no, I think it's just because your character got spawned in a distance away and it hasn't reinitialized. I need to fix that later.
I can log in and out though.
I don't know whether that will fix it, but we can try.
I'll try.
So if someone could bring down the air conditioning unit, that would be awesome. Does it? Oh, yeah. That happens when someone leaves. I should probably copy that as well. Basically, when someone disconnects now, it's not checking. Sorry guys, it's just a dev stream, so I'm just trying to capture the errors as we get them to fix them up. So yeah, I did a refactor, actually based on talking to Aces about how the one of our things works. So you can actually see air is actually flowing down here, probably because of the temperature. So see this grating through here? That's actually up where we were, and because there's a lot of machines up there, it's actually causing heat to get radiated out there, and you can see in the top right the temperature's actually going up. So what we need to do is is basically build a atmospheric system. Yeah, if someone could, there's a portable air conditioning unit, if you could bring it downstairs, that'd be awesome.
I'll log in and bring it down.
So when engines, someone asked a question about when engines burn inefficiently. So first of all, the color changes, so that it goes much more yellow the less efficient it is. We've tried to keep things fairly simple, not necessarily always absolute science. We are trying to make a game at the end of the day. Oh, did someone just join?
I'm trying.
Oh yeah, it didn't work, I think.
Yeah.
Oh no, it looks like it did.
Oh, there we go. Alright, I'll bring the aircon down. Oh, where is it? Oh, Steph's got it. Oh, Zia's got it.
Where are we? Zia and Simon, are you guys joining up?
Yeah, just joined.
Yeah, if everyone lets me know when, if everyone just individually says when they're at the... Oh no, we're back to 50. I think it was just while I was joining, people were going, it was causing a frame rate problem. So yeah, we've been doing lots of quality of life stuff. Oh, someone's hot micing. Okay, so someone bought... Oh, put the air conditioner on this thing here. So yeah, once everyone's in the mothership, let me know, because I'll save it and reload it. Because we just... At the moment, if you spawn into the game away from the mothership, there's some bugs that happen. But what we do here is we actually wrench this down, and this volume pump is going to pump it into here. And this is like, at the moment, we've just got waste stuff that we're going to try and clean up. So you can see pretty hot in there. In fact, that might even be on fire. No, it's going down, that's all right. So basically the air conditioner functions like a heat pump. And so at the moment it does it takes the bad stuff out of the air, of the heat, and just puts it into its pipe. Is everyone on the ship?
Yeah, I'm on.
I'm on.
Cool. So nobody be inside a seat, and everyone just sort of stand still. And I'll save. I am saving. That's weird. Try that. Okay, so quit out of the game completely, and let's run it up. So yeah, just for the people joining the stream, there's just a bit of a bug at the moment. If you spawn into a new game while you're away from the mothership, it gets kind of stuck, just because of the occlusion system we're doing. Yeah, so Nerd Rage was saying about the new models. Peter's done an amazing job. And later on in the stream I might do, but it might be a little bit boring for people, I might actually start implementing the Torpedo system. So he's done an awesome Torpedo launcher with the Torpedo with 4 slots. Okay, if people join, should be good. See ya. So yeah, so we use 64-bit. But we're not using 64 bits for like for vector positions and stuff like that. We're not using doubles. We're just using. We try and work with Unity. So Unity is the engine. Yeah. So yeah, Arthur Dean said when Dean took off his helmet in space, it showed a snowflake symbol. Is space cold in this? It's not cold, but that's telling you that you're the water's boiling and you're evaporating, so it's cooling you down. So you get like, so it's not that space is cold. Oh my god, I just spilled coffee, everybody. Not a lot. It looks kind of like baby poo. See? Ugh.
Hell yeah.
Let's just put that over there. Off stream. How's everyone going at getting on? We got 3 people in.
I made it in.
Cool. So yeah, we've got 4 clients at the moment on the server. Anyone else joining? I just want to avoid doing anything major until people get in.
Yeah, Zia's gonna join.
Cool. So you can see I really like this feature now, how we're, as you remove stuff, it goes into your hands. I think Paradise actually did that in Space Station 13, the Paradise Station. So, you know, a lot of people have been saying, because we released a video... Oh, I need to go get another battery. I do have a backup battery, but it's quite small, so I'm going to go get a proper battery. So yeah, I guess at the moment, like the first playtest we found, it was really fun just going around and just like starting to get stuff. So you can imagine this is us upgrading our big ship, making stuff cool. Can you guys let me know when Z is in? Oh, I can probably check.
It's taking her a while to restart the client.
Yeah, you have to make sure she closes if she's got Notepad or something like that. I find Steam links into it.
Well, hello, Sean.
So down here we're going to build a simple atmospheric system. I wonder, what's below this? Do you guys reckon if I open this up, it's going to be space?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, what I'll do is I'll get ready to weld up. So if everybody has masks on,
I'll grab
probably be advantageous. No, we're good. It was just a momentary drop in pressure.
I'm just connecting.
And okay, we'll wait until Dylan's in before we
That wrench sounds pretty nice when the helmet's on.
Let me know once you're all good. What was that?
Toxin detected.
So yeah, while we're waiting, I'll look at some questions. People who say Unity is bad are just misinformed. Yeah, look, I think you complain about any engine you use. So we at the studio make games in Unreal and we make games in Unity. You always complain about lots of stuff. So here we go. But does the majority of the air in the room stagnate, or is the atmos system constantly cycling the air? This was a very good question. So what I learnt was, in actual space stations, they do have to circulate the air and stuff like that. Oh, this should be done now. Yeah. So they do actually, you know, cycle it and stuff like that. So it's not not stagnating. We don't have that. What we decided to do is just make all the atmospherics mix. We ended up with all these weird sort of problems. We've tried to make it make a lot of sense, basically, rather than just generally being difficult. Did you crash, Dylan?
I got a few errors, so I just relaunched it.
Okay, maybe I
Zero.
don't know why we
I
had
did
those
get
there.
in.
Pressure critical. Temperature critical. Oxygen critical.
Oh dear, I did something.
Temperature critical.
Yeah, I think I done broke something.
Temperature
Oh god, I did.
critical.
Okay. We're just gonna reload. I don't know what I did there. What errors did you get, Dylan?
I kept
You're
it
starting
logged.
to
It was just
die.
a bunch of NREs.
Cool. Yeah, I closed the server down. So if you guys restart your client completely. Here I go, breaking everything. I decided not to reload the autosave. I might just start building the systems. For some reason when I deconstructed that it caused an issue, but we probably don't need that one. So yeah, we're going to build a atmospheric system. So the first thing I want to do is start cooling the station down. Well, actually I want to get all this wire up. Someone asked us if we're going to Gamescom next year. Well, it depends how successful we are with the game. We are making a bunch of other games. This is not the only game we're making at the studio. It's a huge commitment and a long way to go. Right. And I don't even know what is in this. What is in that? Nothing. Huh. I just got thrown out. Did someone connect right then? Interesting.
I tried to connect.
Maybe let me know before you guys connect.
Okay.
Do.
Power critical.
Whoa, sharing violation. That's weird. I think the game was already running. I think I had two copies of the game running. Lol. So cooking, we've got a basic cooking system in. I might show that off actually. Okay, maybe we'll just get a couple of people to join the game, not too many.
Alright, you guys go for it, I'll sit up.
Okay, I try.
Well, you can utilize someone brought up in the Discord, you could cool your gases down for storage so that they take up less space.
And I guess for hydroponics.
Yep. You can do it with hydroponics.
I'm in.
Awesome. Let's just plop this down here. Oh yeah, so I did some work on sleepers. So at the moment, when you get in the sleeper, if you look at the external stuff, so once you get in it, there's no atmosphere inside it. So you can actually connect atmosphere to here, and you can pump atmosphere in and out of the sleeper. So what you exactly want to do. Same with the turret. I don't know. Did I kind of show off the turrets last time?
A little bit, but it would be really good to see them again. And with the work that's gone in last week.
Power low.
So I can't hear it because there's no atmosphere in it, but you'd be hearing it like moving around. Does someone want to hop in? Someone who's in the game want to hop in one of the turrets? Hey Zia. I'll just grab another power
Hi.
thing. Always keep a backup one. So I've got a bunch of filters in my slot to just filter out the regular stuff that we find in here.
Where are the turrets?
On the side of the ship, if you go through the side doors in the middle.
Okay, I'm gonna try and join.
0G.
Oh, found them.
Just let me know
Should
if
I
you're on the
hop in?
left. Yep. Yep. So, Zia's moving them around. They're a little jerky at the moment. I need to do some interpolation on them, but I'll get there. Yeah, if you hop out, Zia, and once Simon's in, I'll save it, so I don't need to. If it does crash again, I don't need to do this stuff. We do actually have an autosave, but I think the autosave is
Yeah, I
part of the
hopped out.
problem.
Okay, I'm in.
Cool. I'm gonna save. Right. Okay.
Toxin. 0G. Pressure.
Oh, that noise. The reason it says 0G is when I get inside thing. We've got a bug at the moment.
Toxin detected. Toxin detected. 0G.
Basically the bug when it stays in basically if it hears the stuff, so I need to...
Oxygen critical.
Oxygen critical. Shut up, Steph.
No.
So... So see how that atmosphere is actually rushing in there because there was no atmosphere there, and so suddenly there's a greater volume. So that's why we calculate the atmosphere on a per grid basis, which is pretty cool. So now I made a new kit for spawning. These are two quite old devices that I redid. So one is a filtration machine and another's an air conditioner. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to place down an air conditioner. I'm going to chuck it here and show people how this functions. So at the moment it's not going to do anything, but we have an output, we have a waste, and we have an input. So I'm actually going to go up and I'm going to get some better supplies.
0G.
So the reason it's doing that is because when you go inside there, it's actually 0G, which is, I need to fix that. It's my bad. Aaron's been doing a great job with the sounds of the game. The game sounds awesome. Oh, someone asked before about lockers. So these are our current lockers. I'm just going to get some pipe supplies and stuff like that. Make sure I've got all the things I might need. Yeah, so someone brought up a good point about how visualizing the air makes it much more satisfying to work with, and I think we all definitely agree. With that. And I think it's probably a pretty good complement of stuff. I'm actually going to turn off my...
Toxin detected.
Do I have... Yep. What else do I need? I might grab an RTG so I don't have to plug it in. Right. Let us build ourselves our system. I'm trying to be a tidy workspace. So what we want to do is we want to have a method of piping air into here, because this is going to be our input, and we're going to cool it down. So you can see in the top right it is starting to get warmer in here. So this is where, yeah, we want to basically deal to that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give us a couple of options for putting stuff in. So we're actually going to grab air from here and we're going to cool it down. But for a start, what I might actually do is basically put this in here. I could grab a passive vent, but it will put it through quite a lot actually. What I might actually do is grab an active vent, chuck one of these guys down, and should probably put them on the walls just to can leave stuff on the ground for the moment. We do have a kind of heat convection, so we do radiation at the moment. Some objects will do heat convection like the furnace does. Are you building your base, Dylan? Oh, I think he's off TeamSpeak.
He didn't join.
Gotcha.
Oh, does warm air rise and cold air sink?
No. We looked at doing a lot of that stuff, and actually I had to dial back how some stuff worked because it's very counterintuitive, and I guess why there's entire industries around doing this kind of thing. So yeah, we tried to be basically a lot more cautious with, with how a lot of that sort of stuff works. So now we actually need a waste system, and probably what I'm going to do is route it back to this chap here, because this is like a bad heat store. I could do that, or yeah, because it's quite big, so I'm just going to remove that pipe analyzer for the moment. And so that thing's errored now because it's like, I don't have a pipe to connect to, and it's very mad at me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this here, and now it's happy again. And I'm going to bring this around, and this is going to be our waste pipe, which basically, think of if at home you've got a heat pump, that's basically what the air conditioner does. If it can, it will take the heat from the air and put it into this waste pipe. And in other circumstances, it will, if it needs to heat it up, it will try and use energy from this pipe, otherwise it will use power. Oh, Dean. No. I'm glad I caught that mistake. Do I still have a straight pipe? Oh, there. So this is our waste pipe. This is our output pipe, and it's our input pipe. Now what we're actually going to do is we're going to have a smart control. So this is something I think I kind of maybe showed off a while ago, but basically we're going to chuck it over here, and we're just going to vent in here. I might actually, just so I can demonstrate it, I might actually make this into a little room. At the moment we're not including sound based on rooms, but we will look at doing that. So this will mean that the air conditioner, we get to see how the air conditioner functions much better. So I've basically made this an enclosed room, but that's not. For now, I will... Do I still have a wall kit somewhere? Yeah. It'd be really cool when we get this occluding. This should give us a nice little enclosed room, completely independent of everything else, so that you guys will be able to see the full effects of how all this works. Where's my RTG? My backpack. So this is kind of like a cheap power system at the moment.
So Aces is asking about the item
Maybe don't
selection.
hop in the turrets for the moment, because they stay stuck on.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's a...
So how you're selecting items, is that how you'll do it in the game in the end?
How do you mean?
Um,
No.
0G. Pressure critical.
Developer
Yeah.
feature.
Toxin.
Yeah, so I think in a previous dev stream we showed off the fabrication process, which is basically how you'll do it in future. Okay. So we're going to wire all these up. Okay. Darn it. So yeah, Ace was actually raised to me the problems that were with the previous air conditioner. So I actually have redesigned it based on his feedback, because we did the original air conditioner quite a long time ago, and there's been a lot of changes in the project. Yeah, we'll definitely be public about how it sells. I think, you know, manage people's expectation. This is a very niche game. You can see how long I've spent just building one system. So, you know, I wouldn't expect that it's going to be absolutely crazy, but we've been having a lot of fun just sort of playing around with it, definitely. So I think that's going to be good.
Nick VR628 is asking if the grilled floor panels let gases pass
They
through.
do. Yeah, that's why I had to cover them up. Okay, so we're all good there. Cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an air control. And I did sort of show this off in a previous stream, but you'll see just how it works so much better. Saying error, because we need to connect it up to stuff. So we chuck a data disk in the side here. So this is going to be outward, this is going to be inward, and so that's when I configure these. It will set up. We need a gas sensor. Let's chuck it here. Now you can connect as many gas sensors as you want, and it'll average, but we're just going to do one because I'm feeling particularly lazy. Now, in terms of the game loop, this is the mothership that we've made that will go off and do emissions. Simon has actually made a really awesome force field system, so you'll have to, you know, manage a force field going around. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to connect up the sensor, going to connect up the inward and outward vents. And you can see there, this says it's all go. I could set it to pressure. Now draft is quite cool. So what it's going to be doing is it's going to be sucking in air here and blowing air out there. So you can see the pressure will be a little bit higher here. Now obviously, actually, that's a bad idea, Dean. Don't do that. Because what it will have done is it will have put it in there and it can't actually get through to the other side. So I need to set that up first. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do an analyzer on the pipes so that we get to see what's actually happening in these systems. Now I can put this anywhere on the pipe because pipes are dealt with as a generalized network item, but I'm going to chuck them here so that we can see what's actually happening. Now, pipe meters don't require power, but analyzers do for obvious reasons. So what I'm going to do is wire them up. So, you know, it is a game that's designed to take a long time. It's like it's about systems and connecting it up. So, you know, you build something, you go through, you rebuild it, and all that kind of stuff. And actually, to be efficient, why don't I do this? Were there any more questions, Steph?
Quite a few people have been asking about electricity. So how do you generate it? How do you distribute it?
True. So at the moment, it's generated. You have multiple options. We're using RTGs, which are kind of cheap development ones. But if you look over here, if I can get through the freaking door, because this is like my bedroom. It's just full of crap. These are APCs, so you can have input and outputs. And this is a good way of like trying to divide your power net up, because certain cables will only be able to take certain voltages and stuff like that. And so you can see I can turn that off, I can turn that on. If I cut the main power here, you'll see that it'll start to go on battery power. Oh no, well actually it's not, because this thing's connected up. Oh no, there we go, yep. So at the moment you can see that light there means it's starting to drain from the battery, which is why that battery's gone from red to blue. And if I pull the battery out, the stuff all turns off, so I can put it back in and stop it draining. I'll close the cover again. Well, and then I'll connect it back up, and you'll see now it's gone blue and green, which is charging, and it's fully charged, which is directly copied from Space Station 13. How that functions. So let's turn these on, and
there's also been a few questions about, for example, autopilot when steering the ship, or even robotics, and you know they can carry out things for you.
Aaron, does the powered sound, does it make the same click as on? Oh, I hear stuff go click when it gets powered. Oh. Okay. What was that? Sorry, Steph?
Just about autopilot for the ship, and also whether you can get robots that would, you know.
Yeah,
do
so
your hardware
we
for you.
haven't done anything on robots yet, but we definitely plan to. We haven't done an autopilot yet either. We've really only kind of just got some of the core aspects of the game working. So, but yeah, that's the idea for early access. If you want to see what it's going to be like Barotrauma. So let's have a look at what our pipes are doing. Our output pipe has nothing in it. Waste pipe has nothing in it. This pipe has quite a bit in it. At a nominal temperature. So we're actually going to close this door. And we're going to turn this bad boy on, but it's not going to work because it's not powered, because I'm silly. So I actually recommend separating the power and data networks, but obviously that's a lot more work. So now this is our air conditioner. We can set the temperature. Now at the moment it's in Kelvin, so you can see it's taking gas out of there at 295 Kelvin and pumping it out at the same 293. Oh yeah, so it's taken off 2 degrees, and it's pumping the waste gas in here at a higher pressure. Now it's probably pressurizing this pipe, so this is where we now turn this to draft, and we should start to see the temperature go down. Now admittedly it's going to go down pretty slowly, so what we can actually do, oh, we're getting blown around a little bit, we can set it really cold. So now it'll be dropping down a lot in there, and you'll see up in the top right the temperature really starts to drop down now. Faster. So yeah, that's our basic air conditioning loop, and you can imagine we can chuck these all over the station. to basically be our air conditioning system. Probably getting quite cold in here, so we will open the door up. Getting very cold. So now the temperature, and I should actually show sometime how it mixes. It's quite cool, like seeing it. So you can see it's affecting the gases all around the ship and stuff like that. So yeah, it's quite cool. We've got a basic thing there. Now we can actually, what we want to do, when we're cooling the gas down, in fact maybe even before we do it, we might actually want to filter it as well. So I'll need to think about that. But so because what's in here, there's a little bit of carbon dioxide, a little bit of pollutant, and you know, very small amount of carbon dioxide and an extremely small amount of pollutant. So what I think we want to do is filter those out. A little bit hard to move in there because the fan is blowing stuff out. It's actually quite a good idea to put it on the roof so that you don't get blown around. Oh, I was going to save it, wasn't I? How's everyone else getting on in the game? Is anyone doing anything?
I'm just cleaning up the base a bit.
Nice.
I
Well,
can
you
try
could probably
to
try
save it.
coming in, Aaron. I've saved it.
There's
Alright.
something needs building.
I'll try connect.
So the filtration machine, bearing in mind these are temporary models, I made these, and Aaron will go back through, sorry not Aaron, Peter, will go back through and make them look cooler. Oh, so someone, Gekido asked about a device that makes sounds. We absolutely want to do that. We're going to do like a klaxon and stuff like that, and you'll be able to have it say different warnings and use the logic system to do it and stuff like that. So we could actually build a logic computer and have this whole system down here turn on when the temperature gets to a certain point. You had a problem again, Dylan?
He thinks it's his character.
Tell you what I can do. I could save it, and why don't I save it, delete your character? So, saved it, and I'm going to delete the character. And this gives us a good time to do a few questions, Steph. Because
Awesome.
the whole idea of the playtest is to show people in multiplayer, so we want everyone to be able to connect.
So there's been lots of questions about medical systems, and people have seen body parts like hearts and, not hearts, like lungs and brains floating around. So how far will that go?
Pretty far. We're aiming for, Base Station had a pretty good Baymeds implementation for Space Station 13, so we're actually really wanting to do that.
Awesome. Also about localization on early access release.
We're not too sure. It basically depends how well the next few weeks go. We're not sure whether we want to do the initial release through Steam or whether we might sell some keys via our own website. Because basically we're concerned we don't want people to come in and do the and see the game and not like it and stuff like that.
User joined your
Like,
channel.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
People
Also, a question about dedicated servers, which I think is always a good thing to talk about.
Actually, what I'll do as well, while we're in here doing this, I'll show people there's some quite cool visualizations that we can see while we're inside Unity. So this is our beautiful mothership, and what we can actually see, to show you the level of depth that we get. Oh, don't join the game as well, guys. Okay, so you can actually see these are all the atmospheres. We can see where they're connected. We can see their velocity. So you can actually see there's some velocity over here. Not entirely sure why. but we're getting gas moving around. Oh, because we're doing this in here, you can actually see that the gas is moving around the space station at this end, and flowing up and flowing all over the place. Part of it is where the sun hits it as well. We can do temperature, a little bit harder to see because the temperatures are all pretty close. We can do pressure. Networking, we won't see anything because we're at the server. Movement, this is where our pathfinding allows us to go. So there's a whole bunch of sort of cool systems and all sorts of stuff like that. Probably the coolest one's probably velocity, because you'll see it working down in there. Yeah, and I think the sun manager, so cells and atmospheres. So unfortunately it's not set up at the moment for the mothership, but if you see the green cells is where the sun is actually heating up squares. So you can see in here the sun is heating up the bridge, but it's not heating up in the back, and as the sun moves around those will change, and you can see the little arrow on them there. So we're actually using the sun to heat up all the stuff, which is pretty cool. Right, now I'm here to remove. I'm going to remove. Can you remember where your character was, Dylan?
In the base, the station.
Cool. I think he'll be one of the early ones. I think that's you. Okay. Someone just asked you build a giant space umbrella.
Yeah, I really like that idea.
Modding. So at the moment, Steam Workshop wise, we have world saves. I think if I bring this up, if I go to Community Hub, can I see it? I think I can, right? Workshop. Is this? It's not showing up on.
No, we can't see.
Okay, that's really annoying. The Steam overlay doesn't show up. Anyway, yeah, there's workshop support for world saves at the moment. Later on, we're going to have workshop saves, or in terms of early access, we'll have workshop saves for away missions. Okay, you guys can join now.
What about for other people's motherships specifically?
Yeah, so we're looking at doing that and seeing how it may be functioning like the blueprint system in what is it? Space Engineers, yeah. Everything's blown towards the door. Let me know how you get in. So it looks like Simon joined okay?
Yeah, still loading everything in.
Yeah. I'll take this time to have a drink.
Power low.
So the Aaron one, who's in the Aaron one, is our artist, a resident artist who's done some awesome work on Torpedoes, which is very cool. So it looks like...
I made it in.
Cool. What was weird is Client 3 got processed joining in the queue before Client 2. Looks like Zia and Dylan. Let me know if you guys get on okay.
My
Yep,
game froze.
It will
Yeah.
freeze when you join though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been longer than before.
I think it's because I jumped your spot in the queue.
Yeah.
Damn you.
Does say you both received updates. Did you get on okay, Dylan?
Yep.
Cool. So Dylan's actually building a little station outside that we'll go have a look with in a minute, or look at. So I'm actually going to turn the system off while we do maintenance. Oh crap, where'd the disc go? There it goes.
Disco.
Disco. Whoa.
I got kicked out.
Yeah, I got kicked out too. What did you do? Something with the air control console? Dylan?
I was trying to cycle the airlock.
Interesting. Okay, we'll quit to desktop. Did anyone get a bug for that? I just realised I cleared the
I
log.
No, I
haven't.
didn't.
Damn it.
The only air control we had was that one you just built, right?
Oh, was it circuit board air control? Yes,
Yeah,
it
was
was.
air control.
I'll see if I can replicate it. No? Damn it. Yeah, I hope I can replicate that one because that'd be good. You guys should be able to join. And I'll turn this off. Whoops, no, don't throw your tools away. That's a big Stationeers lesson. So
Okay, jump back
this
in now.
is the input.
Power low.
Ah. Shut up, Steph.
No.
Power low. Steph is our producer and also my sister.
I just point out when things are wrong.
Oh, someone bought. Just watch those dynamic crash. Oh, it should be fine actually because we've got the anchor on, right? Yeah, I keep forgetting about that. How we
Yeah,
fix bugs.
I'm trying to get it out of the ship. It's filled with garbage we don't want.
Oh yeah, you just have to yeah, you just have to poke it in, and then you'll have to get someone to drag it from the other side. This is why you do 2 square big airlocks. Only Space Station 13 players will know that one.
Toxin detected.
So interestingly, we've managed to clear out toxins in some of the area, but not other areas. So it's just a very small amount of toxins hanging around. And it's not enough to mix, so it's just staying there. Oh, I should have put my battery, but I'll leave that there. So let's just get the power wired as well. So it's going to error. That means error because basically it doesn't have any pipes connected and it wants pipes. Whoa.
That was me that time.
What did you do?
I placed an ore processor.
Oh, yeah, the ore processor is not an actual item in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't do an ore processor. Can you destroy that with the drill? Yeah, I'll set that to not spawn. You use a furnace.
Cool.
The ore processor, people remember. I'll put remove. The ore processor was old. Right. So we want to filter in here. Gas goes in there. Waste goes out, which we're going to pump into that waste. And we should probably paint these pipes as well. Does someone want to come down and paint some pipes?
I can.
I love pipe painting.
We've got a pipe painting competition. Or crew. Pipe painting crew. The
No,
waste
not
pipe we want to paste one colour, and the input and output pipes. Normally clean pipes we paint blue. So I'll let you know where the blue one is. These ones I'm placing here, those will be blue. So the ones that go to this device here, they'll be blue, all those ones. The ones that go out here to the big tank, they will be, what's a bad colour?
Black.
Black.
Orange, actually, that's the worst.
Do you wanna
Orange might
talk
be
a
hard to
little-
tell.
about pipe labels as well, because that kind of comes into.
Oh yeah,
our
pipe
end.
labels. We can do that. I don't actually remember how to do a pipe label. Joel
I
just
hope
fixed
they're
them.
working.
I can do it.
Joel just fixed them. Let's build it first, and then we'll label. Oh no, I'll tell you what. I think.
I got label ready.
Do you remember how you do it with pipe label? Do you just place them?
Yeah. You spawn pipe label,
Yeah.
place it, and then label it.
On it.
Then you just go on it.
Cool. I'll label them so you know which to paste.
Okay.
Paint. So that can be waste. This is input, and this is output. So we want to do a bunch of stuff like this. Label it. This is output. Yep, they seem to work. Are you seeing that, Zia?
No, it's blank.
Oh, no, I did one. You see
Okay,
that?
I can see now. Yeah.
Okie dokie. So, we've got our stuff here. We've got our waste here. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and filter bad stuff out. So we want some filters. So what do we have in there? We definitely have some carbon dioxide. So let's start getting that out. So what will happen is this has nothing in it because it's moved it all through here. So we'll actually grab another analyzer. Do we have another analyzer? Do I need to spawn one? I think I need to spawn one. Let's chuck that here. I think I'm out of cable coils.
So
I
the
only had
output
some.
one is the clean?
The output. This is strangely relaxing. The sounds are good too. The gentle hum. So, why does the output have some? Oh, because we already had gas in there. So now, let us turn on draft. So we should have, we have to turn this on. And here we should start getting bad stuff come through. Why is that not turning on? Did I remove power cable? Or do we just not have enough power? I'll just chuck one down. Yeah. I don't think we had enough power. That's weird.
Will you be able to use the exhaust of that to run a turbine and create electricity or anything?
Say again?
Can you use that exhaust to create power by spinning a turbine?
Yeah, so we don't have a turbine at the moment, but the plan is to add that. For some reason, my air conditioner will not turn on. So, when in doubt, drill it out. Oh yeah, it's filling up. I think it's just going through so fast that it's emptying. which is unfortunate because we should see in here it's starting to filter stuff out. So over time, this will filter out the bad stuff from the ear.
The waste piping is not finished.
How do you mean? Oh yeah.
Well, the
Oh.
pipe doesn't lead anywhere.
So that should reduce the pressure somewhat.
Okay.
We don't want that pipe to explode. So that's sucking it in, and we're actually getting air coming down from here. So probably what I could do is if I set it, now I can hold down Alt to do individual increments. If we set this down to 10 degrees, in fact, we'll do what we did last time. We'll cool it right down. And this should cool the room down much faster. I'm just going to save the game again. Cool. Are we noticing any difference in temperature here? We are actually working, right? Just not entirely sure. Maybe it's all just going out very fast. Let's grab the disk and turn this off and just verify what is happening. Oh dear. Oh dear, I forgot. So we're outputting carbon dioxide. Yeah, the filter machine sends in its output whatever you've specified. So we need to do a little bit of a redesign here. Trollolol.
Is there a battery charge on a ship?
Yep, upstairs to the left of the airlock as you're looking at it.
Sweet.
So because it's got 2 filter slots, does that mean you can filter for more than one gas?
Exactly.
Fancy.
Fancy. So this will be waste. And how are we gonna do this? Should we send it up over the top? No. This is like a silly setup, but yeah, someone just said every time I hear redesign in Space Station 13 there's an escape shuttle you know, warning like minutes later. Okay, so now we should be terrible design, but we should be outputting correctly. We've already outputted everything anyway. Where do I throw the cables? There I go. More cable. So much cable. So yeah, you'll be able to build all this in a fabricator. We can try building a fabricator. We've already done it, I think, on a. If you look on the previous streams on the RocketWerkz YouTube,
Yeah.
you'll see it. We're trying to show new stuff. So this now has oxygen and nitrogen, but what we want to do is, so there's some pollutant, which I think at the moment is a chlorine filter, because we tried to make pollutant more generic, rather than just having billions and billions of filters. So that will now be filtering those two things. So now we should be alright once I find my disk. Are you guys getting as bad of frames? Because I fixed a bunch of issues last night. We still need to do an optimization pass though.
My frames are really low.
Yeah, but I'm talking about because they were very low before, and there were a couple of things I fixed.
Yeah, I'm down to about.
I'm more wondering, like, in
General
comparison.
Comparison, I was getting about 30 to 40 last time I played, and now it's about half that. So.
Right. It
Same.
depends on. That's probably just because there's more stuff's been built, but don't worry.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So let's just. We can't turn that stuff off. But we should notice the temperature starts going down. What we can try and do is see how long it takes us to.
So are those
Cool,
pipes
pretty fast.
insulated, or do they?
No, they radiate heat as well.
Lovely.
Yeah. So as this starts to get hotter and hotter, we'll have a harder and harder time keeping it cool. Whoa. Airlock control. Gas sensor?
Yeah, I just went through an airlock.
Interesting. Whoops. I'm going to open that log file. It was an inclusion manager, so basically for those watching, we do a whole bunch of stuff on the thread so we get better performance. So we do a lot of threaded work, and so basically when there's a bug with the thread, it does carry on. Let's just see. Yep, should be okay. Did it still work?
Yeah, it still worked.
Cool. Yeah, occlusion managers is just is definitely recoverable. So temperature's gone down a lot, but what I really want to see is that, whoop, maybe not that low. What I really want to see, because it's getting sucked out of the pipe too fast. So what I really want to see is how much gas we actually still have. Now there's a neat little way at the moment that we can see composition of gases, which is kind of a hacky cheaty, which I like. So what we're going to do is we're going to shove a passive vent, and we're going to shove an analyzer on it, just so we can get. I'll come up with better ways of doing this in future, but for now this is a good sort of way to do it. So we're slowly removing carbon dioxide. There's so few pollutant moles in the air that it might take us a while to get rid of them, I guess. We have chlorine and carbon dioxide. And what's in the air? Carbon dioxide and pollutant. So it'll take us a while to cycle through all the air, especially since we're just drafting, but yeah, do we have any more questions?
So about restrictions on motherships, how big can they get? How will they handle docking with stations, that sort of thing?
We don't know at the moment. They'll be able to dock with stations, but we'll basically balance it based on performance. So we need to do an optimization pass. There's just so much happening on ships. We need to do a better job of occluding and stuff like that.
And do we have an idea of maximum player counts currently or anything like that?
No.
It's a surprise.
Well, we have to basically, once we've done the game loop, we have to confirm, you know, what sensible play counts, you know, what works and what doesn't and stuff like that.
Oh, this is interesting as well. So, as there's long versions of conveyors when placing them, will there be something similar for pipes?
Maybe. I might actually write that down. That's a good idea. That will give us a performance increase. Yeah, that's a really good idea. I'm going to do that probably today.
Thanks, Nick VR.
Long cable. So I'll just have it that you can scroll your mouse on the pipe in it. Yeah, long cable version. Two's probably
And
a good idea.
we're not quite ready for torpedoes yet, or
I accidentally spawned through the voice recognition system. A passive event. What were you saying, Steve?
are we ready to show anything on torpedoes yet?
Oh gee, it's getting really cold in here. No, because I haven't started. But what I could do is I could move the. How long's the stream been?
1 hour 15 minutes.
I don't know whether we stop the stream and start it for YouTube, or do we just go straight into it. I could start work on the.
I can put timestamps on the YouTube anyway.
True.
So.
Did we have 4 pollutant moles, or do we still have just a very small amount here? Because yeah, I might need to do some work. It should suck those in. We still have a fair bit coming in here. So I think it's just in this corner we don't have that many. It's really just struggling to get that last. Because it's basically just drafting a very small amount, so you can see it's a couple of kilopascals of pressure if you look on the top right, higher here, and it'll be a little bit lower here. So it's basically that draft mode sets, and you can see the air moving like this. So this might be something you want to do in important areas, or even all over the station, is have the air drafting, so that you can basically be, you know, setting the temperature right and stuff like that. But what I might do is for the save anyway. So we'll just open this door, close that, and we'll leave that as a little experiment. We can actually label this. So you can see the text clips over the door, but you can see that yeah, you have lots of stuff you can rename. Yeah, let's go have a look at what Dylan's been doing. You been doing much, Dylan?
I'm just rigging up a furnace and some
Oh,
sheep.
actually, you know, we should show. We did kind of show moving the ship, right?
We could show more thoroughly.
Yeah.
Can we see it go fast?
Yeah. Does someone wanting? Oh,
critical.
oh God.
Pressure critical.
I forgot to.
Temperature critical.
Oh, and I'm out of
Low
air tank.
pressure.
Ah!
0 G.
Ah! Emergency cycle.
Toxin detected.
Now I'm not going to grab these tanks out of here because someone accidentally put a fuel tank in the system. So
Geotech.
classic.
Oxygen low. Oxygen critical. 0 G.
Oh, it's because I didn't turn on my suit stuff. Here we go. So, do we have someone in the cockpit seat?
I can get in. Yep.
Yeah, that'd be good. Turn off the stellar anchor on your way. And maybe Zia, if you could run round up beside him, and then you can, people can see how it looks when you move around on a spaceship. So if you go inside and stand on the bridge.
Roger.
Okay. Anchor is off.
Cool. So basically,
I need to
for
get
the
in.
people looking, we put we put sensors that are connected to the tanks on the left and right side, so you can see the tank pressure for our fuel storage. Is that Zia or Simon?
It's me.
Cool.
And I'm here too.
Cool. And if you just walk around, Zia. So yeah, try like going to the side and stuff like that. Oh, Zia, your suit's damaged. So yeah, for the people who play, Space Engineers and other games like this, you often have a lot of trouble as you move. Now, if Simon wants to increase the amount of gas, he can hold down home, and it will change the amount of gas that the chamber pressure for the thrusters.
Just resetting my controls.
Cool. So at the moment we have that's the large engine.
Low.
We have a tiny engine and we have a small engine. So you can see the different sizes that we have. Jetpack
We're moving.
propellant is low. Yep. What was that, Simon?
Oh, I was dropping quite fast.
So if we look at the console in here, we'll be able to see him using. So you can see the pressure is going down in the fuel tanks as he's using fuel. So yeah, you've increased the pressure quite a lot, right?
Yeah, a decent amount.
Try turning with the mouse. So at the moment we probably don't have enough gyros.
Oh,
What's wrong?
I got kicked out of a ship.
Yeah, you will do. Because we haven't got it at the moment, so it's locking. Because he's going very fast. Yeah, you're going pretty fast actually at the moment.
I'm just going to stop. There we go.
Remember, B doesn't work.
Yep, no, I just found that out.
So Dean, what happens if you don't put gyros in?
Then you can't turn.
Straight line.
You don't necessarily need it. Because we lock rotation around one axis. It does mean, though, if you got bumped by something heavy, you'll just be constantly spinning. Simon, you should be able to just null the numbers on your...
Yeah, I'm just working on that now.
So, Simon, you might want to lower your pressure that you're firing at. So, we can continue doing all the usual stuff. So, we're going to try and get inside here.
One thing that we'd mentioned showing that I don't think have properly yet is the space anchor.
I showed it. It's called a stellar
Oh,
anchor.
I might have been away from keyboard.
So we've been talking about that quite a bit. So this is on the moving ship. So we're going to go in and replace our battery. So everything still works as per normal, even though the ship is moving. Let's go have a look at what's going on in here.
Yeah, we're just about to come to a stop now.
Okay, so we've got a bit of propane in here mixed in as well. Someone must have accidentally opened a fuel tank at some point. At least we're getting the carbon dioxide out.
Okay, we're pretty much stopped.
Cool. And you can try doing some twist. Not too fast, because at the moment we're not, haven't got it fully locked, but...
I can't really see anything, so I've got no real...
Well, you'll be able
point
to
of
see,
reference.
you'll be able to see the twist with the stars as you move, but you have to do it quite aggressively with your mouse because we've got very few gyros on this. So these are the gyros here, and we'll actually see them twist as he moves.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
Toxin detected.
So you can see the gyros are actually tilting slightly as he turns around. So technically these are called, what are they, like gyroscopic control modules or something like that. But yeah, you can see that we've used a bit of gas in the fuel tanks as well. We'll go have a look at the engine system to show people. What's the best way for us to get access to the engines? I think down here. Yeah, so these are the engines here. We've got the gas lines that run to the fuel tanks up there. I'm going to put down a flare. You can see a bit easier.
Toxin detected.
So yeah, these are the engine nozzles. Can you just push as if you're going right? So do you see that? So see how the pressure increases? Okay, that's good. So yeah, you've got the pressure set very high. You might want to lower it a bit. Did someone just quit? Oh yeah.
Yeah. 0G. Toxin detected.
And this was the area in the front of the ship that we were starting to look at.
Oxygen critical. Toxin.
Yeah, so I mean we've covered pretty much all the stuff in there. I don't know whether we did want to do a dev stream for the what do you reckon, for the torpedoes, or it would be a bit
There
boring?
is a lot of interest in the torpedoes. Got a lot of questions.
Yeah, it'll end up being quite a long dev stream then.
Yeah, they might be a bit more fleshed out, perhaps.
True. Well, we can definitely give it a go. I think we can take around a dev stream because it'll show. Ah, yeah. So people said, can you climb into a cryotube? You know what? I can't even remember whether I've configured the cryotube yet. So we're still turning around and we're still moving quite fast, actually. Let's try.
You can turn the anchor on if you want.
Should I try to jump back in?
I'll try. Turn the stellar anchor on. Can do if you want.
Don't think there's animation for cryotube yet.
No, but you'll just be standing up. It's pretty easy for me to configure it. Anyway, I don't think we want these like lying around, so. Cool, stellar anchor's on. I'll save the game. Make sure you're not inside a slot or anything.
Yep, all good. Oh, Dylan's actually joining right now.
Too bad. So let us take a look.
I did make it back in.
Time for pancakes.
Dude, what?
Dude, what?
Pancakes.
Dude.
Dude.
Dude, pancakes?
Pancakes, dude?
Space.
Dude, space pancakes. Yeah. While we're doing this, let's have space music. This is the music from the trailer, which we licensed, but we're going to do a better job with music anyway.
Or Sean could sing.
Or Joel.
So we've had a couple of questions about the torpedoes in relation to can you put things inside them. Specifically, there's a lot of interest in putting people in them.
Putting people on what?
Inside a torpedo.
Oh yeah. Oh well, no, don't think that will be don't think that will be a doable. You'll see why when I look at what's in the game. Oh my god, seriously, like actually pancakes. What? What? I can't actually. You realize like I can't hear you guys because I have a headset on.
That's the fun.
So. What I'm doing is I'm finding the model that Peter made. Because I just check through the model. Get it all prepped. I can't remember what it's called. find it. There's so many. No, I know. It's because it's not in there yet. Duh, Dean, duh. Art source, props. Torpedo tube. This is the torpedo tube. So it's quite a big item. I'm just going to make sure that people can actually see it. I'm just going to get... So I'm going to configure the textures so we can see what's going on. Feel free to fire through any questions, Steph, if needed.
So we've got sort of a random assortment, but for example, does water simulation work as well in moving motherships as it does on stations?
Simon, you want to take that one? I'm not actually sure where water is up to at the moment, because we did have some problems with water when we moved to the mothership thing, but I think that's roughly working. But yes, we'll have to talk to Simon. I don't know where we're at with that one.
Yeah, the water is it's still in the process of getting it to work on the motherships, so it's a bit of a work in progress at the moment.
And kind of involves Simon as well, but so the force field, will there be armor plating that can be put over windows? Will that be covered by a force field instead? We don't have force field in yet, do we?
Not quite, no, but we should do early next week. So I don't know about like physical armor and stuff, but the force field will be like an energy force field that will surround the entire ship. So
nice.
So when we get the assets in, so there is one problem that we have to fix. So often when I bring the assets in, I'll look at them and just see where we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this in. The problem is the little points here. We'll just get rid of some of this stuff. Whoops. So yeah, one of the challenges we've got, so see these ports here, unfortunately they're going to collide with the rest of the object, which is not ideal. So we're going to move these somewhere so that they, because basically we can't have connections that are inside, or can we? We can do that if we allow cables to go through this. Never been done, people. This has never been done. I think we should allow that. Let's try it. Let's live dangerously. So we're just going to use this for reference so people can see how this is going to fit in. Whoops. Just trying to get this. Lined up. Yeah, so it'll go like this, and I think like that. Yeah. I think this will, how did we? Does this look right? I wonder why Peter didn't want it to line up with a wall. Do you want it to stick out like that? Is he there? He'll probably tell me in chat if he thinks it's not right. I kind of feel like that should go back over, but if we put a wall in, just so that we can make sure that it's all good before we actually do something with it.
User disconnected from your channel.
Yeah, but Peter, what I was wondering is why can't the black bit go back in? Because you won't always have the walls placed? Do you reckon that's a... So basically, if I do this... Whoops. Basically, because you won't always have it when the walls are placed. So what I could do is actually pull this grey bit back. So that even when... Because you definitely, I think, in a lot of places you won't always have walls. So I want to see whether Peter's okay with this. Like that.
Peter says, yeah, you're right. I was building it with the walls placed. Yeah, do that.
Yeah. So we'll just make
Yeah.
it look good even when it's just placed in a frame. And see, I think that will look good because that's basically exactly what I think what Peter was intending. Peter loves it when I change his models.
He said it looks good to me.
This one might need to be a little bit more delicate. I don't think it necessarily matters at that end. I think that's fine. So that's looking pretty good, actually. So now we'll just double check how we want it to operate. So we've got a door here, a door here, which is going to go up and down. Let's hide a couple of the colliders. So the idea is for modding is we want it to be just as easy to load stuff in as you can basically see here. I think this guy is supposed to be color here. Yeah, it looks really beautiful. So that's all good there. We've got a switch, we've got a power and data connector. Oh, they're in a weird spot. That might have been... Oh, what have I done? Anyway, we can line those bad boys up. So this is the power connector, so it is a collider, and we position it in such a way. I'll do actual modding tools for people for all this. Thanks, there. Oh, I got some pancakes. Mmm. Mmm. So I think this is going to be lined up. We'll just do a quick check.
Peter's wondering if he forgot to reset the transforms, as they should be aligned.
Oh, I might have. It's okay. I'll fill that in. No, I want 150. People can see what I'm doing on stream, right?
Yep.
Cool. Someone will tell me if I screw that up, I'm sure. So this allows us to just double check. How we're going to line everything up. Now, we've never done this before, with an item that has stuff inside it, but I'm going to allow cables to be passed through this system. God damn, that was good. Now these colliders don't need to be exactly aligned because we snap it anyway. The colliders let you know, so we tried to do everything really standardized, so the colliders let you know where it's going to be. So we actually have 2 grids, which allows us to do the whole compound block thing. These we will move back and forward to see inside the torpedo tube, so let's have a look and see what these are going to look like. Very cool. And the torpedo is going to fly out of that. These are the cameras for when you're looking. Looks like it lines perfectly up with the small grid, which is awesome. And these will go up and down when the torpedo gets loaded. And the torpedo will sit in here. So now what we want to do is we want to check that the colliders are all good. To do this, we're going to hide the wall frame. So this is one collider here. This is a collider here. That one there. That one there. There. Trigger colliders. Oh, now what we have to check is the trigger colliders are not overlapped by the main colliders, and that looks all good. Yeah, that all looks really good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to seat the slot positions. So the whole reason we've basically been able to make the game as quick as we have is because it's really easy to load new content into the game. So now I'm going to, actually I'm just going to save this. And I'm going to grab the torpedo itself. Everyone's going to go, whoa, because Peter did a really good job with this.
Do we need a drum roll?
Drum roll, please. Well, first of all, I need to get rid of the capsule collider. And then I need to... so Peter uses Maya, and he's the artist, so he gets to call the shots. I use Max. Now, Peter, do you think we could make the torpedo paintable? So you can tell the difference.
His stream has gone blank for a bit. Might be his internet. Not sure if we'll see it. He might.
Cool. I kind of want to make it paintable. What do we think?
I always vote yes for paintable without consideration to the consequences.
So, what I'm going to do here... Oh, honestly, we can do that later. Let's just get it working. So now we're going to seat it correctly inside this. And we'll create a slot based on that. So, you know, this, again, for those who'd be interested in modding, we think modding is going to be just an absolutely huge part of the game. So, modders will be able to do everything I'm doing here. So we want to make sure this is seated. And the idea is when you're preparing your torpedo, if you've played Barrow Trauma, you'll put it on here. You will open this up so this will get hidden. And then inside these little bays here, you will place... the like devices and stuff like that you want to put on it. It's not like square, that's triggering me pretty bad, but oh well. Yeah, so you'll be able to pre-package them or pre-prepare them for all the stuff that you might want to do and all that kind of stuff. So it's all going pretty well. So now we're going to create a dummy object that will get read by naming conventions for the slot system. So we do that. We actually make sure this is first of all orientated correctly so that it'll be 0, 0, 0. It is. Where's that dummy object here? This is going to be called slot 1 type torpedo. Now we use naming conventions so that when we bring the asset into the game, it knows everything that's going on. Now, slot 1 is going to be loading, and then we're going to make a second one. which is called slot 2, which will be once it's loaded. Now, for the ease of development, we are actually going to now pretend it's in slot 2 and hide that. Grab hopefully slot 2, yep. And we're going to move it inside. So that basically when it's inside the tube, you'll be able to see. So we're going to plop this in here like this. And door launch left. Guess Peter had this all in mind. We might want to tuck it through a little more so that you get to see it when it's out, or maybe that's honestly enough. So basically we're going to have 2 slots, and as you move one in, it will get moved to the other one, and it'll be pretty cool. Okay, so that looks all good.
Looks like an MRI machine.
Kind of does. It's a very big machine. One of the biggest small grid machines that we've got in game. Yeah.
Is there any way for the torpedo to explode before it gets launched?
Yeah, it could potentially be possible for that. We'll just have to see. So, honestly, I think that's all pretty good. I'm just going to check the switches orientation because that will be very important. It's that. Which switch was that supposed to be? That's the lever for open, closed. That's for firing. I think the switch is actually supposed to be here's something I did recently. Let's bring the rocket engine in. So this is, well, we're going to have to do our own animation controller for it anyway. So, do we have an on-off? We do. I have to select this. Let's just get rid of that. Hide that, hide that. Hide that, hide that. I think what we want to do is just double check. I can't actually remember, so I am going to have to bring this in. Import. I really should have saved a version of this. It makes it easier. So yeah. So I am going to line it when my UI reloads. Okay, so what orientation? 165, 90. So I think we just need 165. No. I think all I actually need to do is this. Yeah, there we go. That music's pretty dramatic. So, torpedo will be a item or a dynamic thing? Are you going to have to carry it around? What do we think? In your hand? I think it's probably better to be a slotted item. That means you could put it in your backpack. I think I might try it as an item for the moment. Just simply These are the questions of our times. So let's just hide these. Now we need to check the transform for scale is pretty important because Unity has a total poo if the scales aren't good, but the scales look all good. The naming conventions will be very important. So basically for modding, naming conventions super duper important for how we do all this. I am going to rename this to item torpedo. Alright, in fact I might just call it, I think we were calling it weapon torpedo. And let's export it. And let's grab all this and do export structure torpedo tube. Now we go into Unity. Oops. I will remember this time to swap. I think Unity opens up over top anyway when it eventually opens. Yeah, it does. So now what we do.
How will you store the torpedoes?
Yeah, we're going to do like a torpedo storage. At the moment, we'll be able to put them inside the, what is it? The
Locker?
Locker, yeah. But we're going to have like a rack that you can put them on. So, first things first, we need 2 new scripts. One new script is for a torpedo. I'm going to open that up in Visual Studio. So we're going to do torpedo, and we're going to do a second one under electrical called torpedo tube. And using the way we do inheritance. Really? You haven't found Visual Studio? Thank you. So we need to make sure the torpedo tube is in the correct namespace. We need to inherit from something. Let's go electrical. And get rid of these guys here. By, because we're going to be using these guys a lot. Probably just for the moment inherit from item. And now we can actually bring them in and start adding in our special stuff. So here's the torpedo. I have to wait for Unity to whoop, and I have to switch over. So this is our beautiful little torpedo that we've brought in, and if you can imagine for modding you'll basically be doing this. So we just check rotation's good, scale's good. Those need to be 0 and 1. That's very, very important. Now what we do is we find our script, we add this on here, it comes up with a whole bunch of errors, and we just click populate colliders. Unfortunately the capsule is going to be sometimes the capsule collider gets a bit annoyed, so we actually want to swap the radius, and this, and we want to try and do, what is it? That. So yeah, sometimes the auto detection of it doesn't work too well, and I will fix that at some point one day. But that's given us our capsule collider, which is good. We're going to fix the gravity setting. Yep. We're going to populate the materials, make sure that's all good. Now we didn't add slots to it. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to go back to max. Maybe we won't add slots for the moment because we can't do anything because we haven't actually made the items to go into the slots. So we're going to ignore that. So that's all good. We've got no animator and no interactables, so it's all pretty just standard. So we'll change the name to that. There's no paintable at the moment. Now we need a new slot type. And I do want to redo this a bit because it's not super extensible at the moment. But if we go into thing and we find the slot types, slot type, torpedo. We should be able to sign it. Now I generally like to make stuff automatically configure itself, so that's what we're going to do here, and this will be again available eventually to the modders. So basically in here we can override and say actually make the name Torpedo, and what else do we want to change? Slot type equals Torpedo. So this will just load in the defaults instead of us having to click through into this stuff here. Now I'm not sure there's anything else that we want to change. Infantry scale half should be fine. We don't want to change it what temperature it burns or anything like that at the moment. So we click that. So basically when we push that, it will have now gone through and not done what we wanted. Why is that? Oh, because it hadn't saved. Let's try that again. There we go. So it's set slot type to torpedo. So now we drag this through to here. Damn it. So yeah, what I did was I changed that, pushed this button here, and it pre-populates slot type to torpedo, and pre-populates our other stuff. And we use an animation system in here. We want to make an animation controller, and we have nothing to base this off at the moment, so we're just going to make a new controller here. We're going to call it Weapon Torpedo. It's got nothing inside it, it's just blank. We're just saving that for later. If I do a populate animator, it's found it and it's actually linked it in here. And you know, we could do populate interactables and stuff like that, but there's none that will apply at the moment. And we could do link sounds. Has it actually found any sounds? No. So we'll just remove that at the moment. Better just double check that it hasn't actually. Yeah, it did. Let's just go 0 there. Cool. So that's good. Now I think I showed this previously, but we have a special scene that generates thumbnails, and I'm going to do a bit of work on it later on, but for now this just sort of shows how we generate those little thumbnail icons. So I grab the torpedo in here, I change this to thumbnail view, reset position, and now basically I position this to the point that I want, how I want it to look in the inventory. So you know, this will probably be made look prettier and redone at a later point, but it's quite a simple but strangely effective system at the moment. you know, we want to automate this a little bit more so that modders have an easier time. But so I save that and I generate the thumbnail, and now it's actually made a thumbnail. If I go find it here, so it's made a little thumbnail, you know, applied some color effects to it and stuff like that. So we want to apply that, close that down, and we click save scene because otherwise Unity doesn't record the changes. And now if we run the game, we should actually be able to see the torpedo and pick up the torpedo all very, very quickly. And then we'll do more stuff later on. So actually we're just going to make a new game. Let's go on Mars because we didn't do that in the stream. So torpedo, and boom, it's just already in there in the game. So we can see there's a nice little torpedo rolling around. In the inventory we've got the little icon and all sorts of stuff like that. And it'll roll around nicely and all that good kind of stuff. So now what we want to do is bring in our structure, and this will be a bit more involved. It begins with T. Here we go. This is definitely one of the larger small grid items I've ever bought in, so I'm not entirely sure it's going to work, but we will try it out. So
I believe in you.
Torpedo tube. So it's told us this is where it thinks the stuff is. What we're actually going to do is we're going to hop into Visual Studio again, and we're going to look at this, and we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to pre-populate some stuff. Now I think we decided we didn't actually want this to slot to the large grid, but we need to do a bunch of things. Now it'll name it correctly itself anyway, but we want to have a look through at some of the stuff in here that we want to change. Now I think it's going to set a lot of that stuff by default anyway, but we'll do it. Grid size, we'll go to the small grid. And we also want to set the selection display to show the bounds instead of the grid, because it'll just look better. We can adjust the bounds grid ratio as to how much space it's going to take up, and this is where we are hopefully going to be able to adjust this so that it doesn't do the bottom. Maybe we want it to. Yeah, we want it to, but we do want to allow you to be able to pass cables through it. And this is a little bit different. So we're going to set collision to everything. We're going to do item drill. We're going to populate colliders, which will snap it to the grid. I'm going to populate slots, materials, interactables. Did it grab the slots? Yep. And see how it's pre-populated everything for us. So we've got torpedo and torpedo. Now actually we know, and this is where in here we're going to add a thing here. So you guys will see this in a second. On editor, populate slots. So when we populate the slots, we want to have it reset stuff. So I'm actually going to. So again, it's okay sort of hard coding some of these things. So if we go public slot, and we'll call this loading slot. Public, or I'll just check I'm on Visual Studio. Yep. Public slot, chamber slot. This is called a property. So we're going to do get, and we're going to return slot 1. So the second slot, because we know when we're preparing the asset that we're hard coding it for what we want. And this is going to be the first slot. So then, in here, we want to say display name equals loading slot. Loading rail. Getting very nautical here. This one will be called Now the player won't actually be able to access this one. Okay, so what I just realized is Peter actually already had, if I switch back to Unity, Peter already had a slot in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this. Because basically you need to be able to interact with it. Also, this can be a capsule, which is a lot cheaper. So I'm just going to configure it up first. So if we now if we it's going to have a panic attack. Actually what we might do is create the kit basically to build it first. Now I think we did one with a turret. Did we make this a multi-constructor? No, we did not. That was silly. What's the color we haven't used much of? Green. So we're going to make a new kit called Torpedo Tube. And we're going to drag that off into here. And we're going to drag this into here. No, we're not. We're going to click that. So as the bug in the game at the moment is it gets very laggy if it doesn't have an item. So now it'll play nice. So we've got in there and it'll be a lot easier and less unwieldy for us to deal with. So now we want to populate open ends, so it's found our power and data connections here. We want to populate colliders, populate slots. It's found our slot, and there. Oh, really? What's not set as a trigger? Why is that not set as a trigger? Fair enough. Apply. Now this is unfortunately going to break it, but because this bit doesn't work, but we're going to generate a blueprint, and this will take a bit of time. So the game automatically goes through and it creates that that beautiful looking blueprint. That should make it actually look good. And yeah, it will take a minute or two to do this. Okay, so that's done. But unfortunately when we do that, it tends to break the reference there, but it doesn't seem to have. Oh yeah, it did. Because it gets a local reference, so I need to fix that. But we'll chuck that in there. Now what we need to do is take a look at this and rotation axis. So I'm going to go back into Visual Studio and I'm going to set some of more of the defaults in here. So I want the I only want you to be able to. I don't want you to be able to fire up and down. Do we? No. I think for the moment, let's just keep it simple. Torpedoes you can only fire on normal axis. So that's around Y. Is there anything else I want to change? No. Oh, small collision should be devices, and pipes. So you will be allowed to build cables through this, and that's necessary so that you can get a power connection and stuff like that. Either that, or basically we're going to have to move those so that they point outwards, which will probably be preferable. I wonder how easy it would be to do that. Not super easy. But yeah, we don't like having connections that are inside. So if I switch back, you'll see what I mean. So basically the connections are inside the collision, which isn't ideal, but we can probably work with it for the moment. We'll just see how it goes. So if I click populate colliders here, oh, I need to save it. Wait for Unity to do its thing. Click populate colliders. It will have picked up all our default settings in here. Now we don't have an animator, so we want to add an animator, and usually the best idea is to just copy one from before, and device is usually a pretty good one as a base because it already has a whole bunch of the animations done. So we copied this and we call it structure torpedo tube. Again, we click on it, click populate animator, populate interactables, and now it's pre-populated a whole bunch of stuff. Unfortunately we have 2 slots there. Oh, because we didn't get rid of the old one. Let's get rid of that. Now by default we're not adding power, so I'm going to add that in there. You didn't see that, but all I did was add a default setting for used power. I like to add the default setting so that if the asset's ever updated, it all makes sense. Now I've tried to use that capsule collider instead of a box collider because capsule colliders have less of a performance impact. So there, we've got rid of all our errors. Now we can take a little bit of a look at whether this animation, no. So see, that's it's not ideal because the object's rotated in a slightly different direction. So what we can do is rotate the button, and it's going to make it look weird in the source. So we can sort of cheaply use the animation. Do I do it in the pivot? Yeah, I think I do. I think I just rotate the pivot 90. Now this is kind of dirty. You guys can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just doing something really dirty and quick, and you'll see the result of it. Just to quickly get us to a position. So there we go. So now you can see the little button in there is turning on and off. By default, just using our default animations. This is it turning off, and this is it powered, not powered, powered, and it'll flash on an error. So we'll just do a quick test with it now in game. Oh crap, I clicked the save button. Come on. There we go. So I might just actually start a new small world for this, so it's easier for us to see what's going on.
0G.
0G. If I get some steel frames out and place a couple of those down, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Turn my welder on. So you can see it's actually using the atmospheric system welding, like it's actually burning. If I just put an oxygen tank in here or didn't have the gas mix right, it wouldn't actually function as effectively as it was. So that's given us a good platform. Save it as Torpedo. So we've got a quick platform to test. And now let's try place a torpedo tube. So here's a little torpedo tube, and we've got our little like telling us where we can build and stuff like that. So let's pretend we're going to build here. And let's just see, do we have any interactables at all? Yep. So we have on off, we have our loading rail, but we can't do anything with that, and we have a data and we have a power. So let's get a torpedo in. So it won't let us load that. It says steel sheets cannot be loaded, but we can load a torpedo. Now unfortunately it's half scale. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this, and we're going to go back into Visual Studio, and we're going to set some more defaults. So I put a couple in here. So basically when we're loading these in, we need to say, okay, loading slot, you are going to have real world scale. So you're not going to scale the object, and same with the chamber slot. And I can't remember whether there's anything else that we need to do with it, so I think that's okay. And then we need to find the object again, obviously, inside Unity. At least it's big and easy to see. Here we go. So if we go look at the slots, you'll see in here it's got a whole bunch of options. Use internal atmosphere, real world scale is hidden, is interactable, is swappable, allow dragging, and which action it's assigned to. When we push this now, it's actually going to pre-populate it. So even if we brought this asset in fresh again, it will have pre-populated. We're probably going to have a lot of those things as little settings files so that you can actually save them off, much like how KSP does it, but we just haven't got to that point yet. Ignore that, it's just getting upset. So that should be good. Now we want to think about when you load it. So we have this handle here, and I think the idea is when you pull the handle down, it will actually load into the chamber. This lever here. Now it's just called lever, and we're actually going to look at, we will like rename some of the stuff here so that it's easier, I guess, for our stuff to go. So this, I think, oh, we need to click populate materials. Okay, it didn't pull in the hazard. I need to fix that up. But yeah, so basically, where is the button? That's button on, off. Oh, yeah, that one's set to collapse. So, is that called light? No, that's the light there. So we just need to take a look inside the model now. I think actually, I think this is our fire button here, but I think it's actually part of the mesh. Yeah, it is. So we'll pull this out. Um, call it button 1. $40. So that should give us our button now. And we're going to rename lever to, could name it button 2, but we'll call this open. Because basically when you pull that down, it will open that. I guess maybe that torpedo tube thing could be open when there's no torpedo in it, and when you pull the lever down, it plops the torpedo in and shuts the door and opens the other one, and when you push it up, it pulls it back and opens it. So I think that's sort of how we'll aim to have that. And this should be a capsule collider trigger torpedo axis X. And we want to remove this.
Peter said lever should be called load. Smiley face.
Well, no, because the things actually need to be named. They get automatically pulled in to the system. So the naming conventions actually, there's no actual load like
For other things.
well, there's no load interactable. Okay, so we've lost a couple of things in here, but that's no problem. We just need to name this. This was called open. And then we look for open, which is there. And I think then we need to, actually we're going to need to bring in the mesh anyway. Oh, I need to re-enable Unity. So basically, instead of having to reconfigure the whole item, I can just pull in this and button 1. Now I need to find which box collider that little fellow is, and there's quite a few on here. Always the first one, isn't it? So now again I can push this, populate colliders, and it's pulled in the colliders and linked them up. I can do populate interactables, and it will have grabbed now under our interactables pre-populated on off slot 1. Slot 2 isn't interactable, so there's no interactable for it. We're going to put it there manually. Open, button 1. Do we not bind to an animator yet? Yeah, we did. Why? Oh, because they're not saving, I think. Yeah, these ones aren't actually animated. So what we need to do is go into our animator, and we need to add some new values here. So open is an important one. Whoops. We probably need to add lock. I think it's locked. Is it locked? No, it's locked. Whoop. So now, now it should bind these to the animator and it'll actually save the state of those and synchronize them. So we don't have to worry about any of this stuff when we're doing multiplayer. It's all just handled. And in fact, if we now to go populate sound effects, it will go in and it will pull some default sound effects. And you can use inheritance and stuff like that. We should change the mass while we're here. Let's just make it 50 kgs for whatever state. So that should be all good. And yeah, let's just see. Oh, so now we want to create some animations. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new animation for the object. And we're going to call it structure torpedo tube open. Now I think by default open should be this thing being open, so the like load, and we're just going to translate this up. So Unity has a pretty good actually little system here for doing this stuff. So I'm going to add load up. In fact, because I'm translating, I can just do this.
Quick question.
Yep.
Will people need a circuit board for it?
No. So we're trying to balance, like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. So we're trying to balance like usability with a lot of other stuff. So this is our load, our open. And now we need to have like an import and an export as well. So that will be that. And then we'll need to do a, with this. So we wanted to do an armed as well. I guess that will be that. And the other one will be, so that will be closed. So we probably just need to make sure that left and right are added as keyframes in here. So they will actually start open. Let's just have a look at. Ah, damn it. So and we're just going to swap these around. You can go, Steph, too. You don't have to hang around while I'm doing all this.
Oh, sorry. Yes, might go in a minute. I was just typing in chat.
So that's one direction. And we need structure, torpedo, tube, close. Doesn't really matter what we name these, because in game we'll have them as different things. And this will be the opposite, opening out. So as you do it, they'll alternate between them. But we also need to do the lever as well, so we forgot to do that. So open will have the lever up, whereas closed will finish with the lever down, which the lever was called open. Crap.
Okay, I'm gonna head away now.
Cool. Small spanner in the works here. So This is something hopefully I would have picked up on before, but we have a transform for this that's in the middle, but we don't want that. We want the transform down. So that basically when we pull the lever down, the lever looks like it's going down. So we look for, it's like it's a middle bit there.
User disconnected from your channel.
Now it has moved that object up a little bit, so we're actually going to just re-grab it and using that little trick that I did before. But as you probably might have guessed, we will have to repopulate colliders and repopulate the animators. Now, let's just move this so we don't get the UI in the way. So if we go back to close, so at the end of close, this handle should be down so that you know that you've loaded something into the torpedo tube. So if we get open here, and
User disconnected from your channel.
probably we're going to do this. See ya. Now we can do some cool stuff like this as well, where the handle goes down first, and then all the stuff
User
goes.
disconnected from your channel.
Which is pretty cool. And in fact, just let me think about this. If we wanted to do an, so while that's open, yep, so I know that all works. And then we want to grab this. We want to do the opposite on close. So now a lot of these are set to looping, so it has a bunch of warnings for us. We probably want to add events, they'll make more sense later, so we do that. Now we can try them out. Oh my god, I just heard the oxygen not included devs watching. But that was 40 minutes ago, which is quite scary because I absolutely love that game. So, let's have a look and see how we've gotten on with the torpedo launcher. So when I push this, nothing happens. Ah, of course, so I'm an idiot. I need to actually put it into the animation controller. So we've got these sitting here and we've got no layer. So we do open layer. Now the game, the way we've set up the tooling is it's all very smart for us to do a lot of this stuff. So I can just grab these in here. I can grab them and not paste them. Thank you, game. Now it's very important that we name these properly, and this will be all in the thing. So I think this has to be closed and open. Might be open and closed. But we'll be able to check this in a minute. Or I could just check. No. I'm looking for one that has open. One of these release mask. Here we go. Yeah, open and close. Okay, that's good. Unless, is this Torpedo? No. So yeah, so basically we designed the script so that it's very smart in terms of being able to figure out what it finds. So now I'm doing the actual transition in here. So I'm going to say open is greater than 0, and then I'm going to go open is equal to 0 to do the transition, and we don't care about any of this. So basically now it will transition between those two states. Now what's really cool is if we go in here and we look at our interactable for open, it is going, after we push this button, hopefully that layer there is going to change, and it's going to know when it starts the game that it goes to that layer, and you can see it does now. So it says layer 2, so it knows when the game starts that it's going to plop in and do all that sort of stuff. So hopefully this actually works now. Yeah, we love oxygen not included here. There's actually a new update out for it. I haven't got a chance to try it. The oil update. I think it's actually on sale.
0G.
So you can see when we push this, it's doing the changes we want. Now maybe that's a little fast, so we can actually change that. That's our button 1, which does nothing, and that's the on off there. So now we can start actually getting into the point where we do stuff and see how this is that size. Now what we can do is we can do a cool import and export thing, and you see how fast it is for us to start getting this into the game, and that's the idea, is to give the modders heaps of stuff to allow them to do that. Oh, just saying about Oxygen Not Included, if you have any of the other Clay games, you get a discount, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Oxygen Not Included, very good. So, while we're here, now bearing in mind this is taking me perhaps a lot longer than to do a normal item. What did I do? Did I set... So yeah, we might actually need to move those things, but I can do that later on. Unless, did I set collision? Where's collision? Devices and pipes. Yeah, so I think I'm going to have to move those little things on the side, but we can do that later on. I want to do the fun stuff. So now we want to add a new type of animation called import, which will take something in, and we only need to do import for the moment, and firing is actually going to be called export, which is pretty cool. So all of this stuff is pre-populated, and basically we just loop into it, which means we have to do no multiplayer stuff. So again, here's a predefined state that we can just use under interactables here, which is import, and it's already started to pre-populate. But again, same as before, we need to make a layer. It's very important what it's named. And we're actually going to make the animations for a torpedo going in. So just for funsies, we're going to chuck a torpedo in here, as if there's a torpedo on the bench. And we're going to make a structure torpedo tube load. Now while it's loading, while it's even started loading as well, we actually want to turn the capsule collider off so the player can't modify it while it's going in. The player can't actually accidentally pull it out. And then we're basically just going to reverse this. For unloading. And in fact, during the unload, we might actually want to turn the entire darn thing off so that the player doesn't even see the. Actually, no, that's a bit dangerous. Let's just leave it like that. This will be totally fine. But once it gets back to here, we want to allow the player to be able to actually access the collider. So we want to get rid of that. Again, we don't want them as looping animations. These are all just warnings that we added. We don't want to have events on this. For now, anyway. Populate interactables, and again it should have found, which it has, it's found is the layer that the import is on. And this is where we can start getting kind of cool with what we do. So we start getting into the logic. So we're going to switch back to Visual Studio. So we have a whole bunch of events. You might have seen this previously on child enter inventory. So once something's put in, we then want to check if I don't even think we need to do that. I think it's if so actually when it's when you close let me think about this. I actually think we need to have perhaps another lever that controls the open and close state, unless we want to have it so that when you do that to close it, it actually goes through a long animation of pulling that in, shutting it and doing it like that. Might be better. Unless we make open, unless we actually change that button to being, so you do open and it would either just do the other one or the other one, which I think we might want to do. So where is it? Oh, I put these in the wrong spot. Where is that? Resources, objects. These guys need to be moved. So yeah, I think I'm still in Visual Studio. The challenge we've got is that I want to kind of have it so that if you do that to shut the door, it will actually take something in there if there's nothing already in the chamber. So I'm going to have to get a lot more clever with how I do the basically load and unload. So now I'm going to go back through and I'm actually going to move out some of those. So I'm going to do structure, torpedo, lever down, and structure, torpedo. Gosh, damn it! I named it a really bad name, but it doesn't really matter. So there's a lever down, and we're going to create a lever up. So basically when you pull this, it will just do it, and then we'll actually do the open and close ourselves, because we want quite advanced behavior. Crap. So we want quite advanced behavior for how that sort of functions for itself. So I'm actually going to go in here, and I'm going to find the open and close. I can't remember which one this is. This is the wrong one, but let's just make it 30. And that was on open, was it? Oh, we can just reverse it. Leave it down. Lever up. So now we need to remove these from here. And actually we want to remove the events for the moment. Let's just not have events. Events allow you to stop basically the thing being used or not being used. So we're just going to leave those all there in for the moment. So open and close is actually going to be, so close is lever up and open is lever down. So this should just be a very simple animation, and then basically we'll get it to be smart about what it's doing. So that's good there. Because we have like import 1 and import 2 as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to do activate. It doesn't really matter what these layers are named, to be honest. So we've already got those in. This is going to be called activate 0, activate 1. Again, the naming convention is pretty important. So this won't actually exist in the model, but this state is going to be something that we basically manage ourselves. So this is becoming the most complicated object I've shown on stream, certainly. Yeah, so basically we just want it to be smart. Like, we want it to be smart so that when you pull the lever down, it'll try and load, like you're loading a gun, basically. So that's activate. Yeah, so let's just check. That is what one? That is close. Where is it? Close. So we probably want it actually the other way around. So this will be open at that end and close that end. Open, close. Cool. So basically, this is where we start getting really advanced. So I'm going to switch us back to Visual Studio. So override, public override. So basically when an interactable gets updated, and we're going to escape unless we're the server, because basically we try and do nearly everything server side and then just broadcast it to clients, just is better for hacking. If it's the server, and interactable equals, no, interactable type, we might even want to do a switch case here. Whoops. Switch interactable dot action case. So open. So basically, if open, and then we do if so which one's is open? I'm trying to think which one is open is. So as open will be the lever down. Then we're going to try and once the lever is down, we basically will start the process of closing and opening. So we're basically going to go on server, which is a special thing we made. No, thank you. Dot interact. To make it easy as well, we'll do interactable. I've done this a few times, and we'll call this activate. It's just easier to do it once. Just so that the game doesn't have to do it. So now we can pass in that interactable. We can set the state, so we're going to want to activate it to open out those doors, and it should do it. Otherwise, it will go in the other direction. But what we're going to have it do is, if that chamber is empty, before it does that, it's going to load it. So this will make more sense in a minute, but you'll start to see how that structure works. I'll try to remember to look at chat occasionally. Who's Mightyberg? Is that Dylan? I don't even know. It's just looping. Oh, Scott. Sup, Scott. No event, no event, no event. So this should work out pretty good, actually. I think this will be really good. Oh.
G.
Okay, unfortunately we have one of the animations looping, which is making it really hard to select it. No, I think we've done something even worse. I think... Interesting. Let's just try that again. I'm not entirely sure what actually happened there. Whoops. So something screwy is going on.
0G.
It's not looping. It's really weird. No, that's fine. Hmm. When in doubt, just create a new one. See if it's the animation.
0G.
So it's actually doing it now, that other thing we're doing. I think there was just something screwy that I couldn't see in here. I don't know what was going on. Oh, Hellion has an amazing atmosphere. I just, my main concern is, you know, I just think that simulating a lot of stuff is just sort of unnecessary. Because basically, if you simulate too much stuff, then you can't simulate everything else. So they're doing like orbital mechanics, and I think the most important thing with games like this is your game loop. Really important.
0G.
Okay, so that's good, but why are you not going up and down? Oh, I get you. This is why you don't make really complicated objects. So there's that. We don't actually want open and close. We want lever up and lever down. Now hopefully these don't loop. Yeah, so Nerdrate's talking about Hellion and game loop. Like game loop is, people really underestimate how hard it is to actually get a game loop together. And, you know, we even struggle with that with this. So yay! So I think it's doing both now. If we go in here and just check. Yep. So now it's doing it. It's doing what we want, which is woohoo! Yep, success. So now we want to look at, I think did we have import? What was import? Oh, God, I grabbed the stacker. Okay, no. So I thought we did have an import layer. We do. But nothing in it. So this will be import 0. Import 1. So yeah, naming conventions pretty important with all this. 0. Spent a lot of time on tools. We try and do everything really quick with no real transitions, like just because we're really focused on multiplayer, we want it just things to sequence really quick. So import, so I think load, I think unload is there, and load is there. That's right. But torpedoes, when we say torpedoes, they're really just like a shell. So you're going to be able to put guidance computers and stuff like that in them. So you'll fire in the rough direction, depending on what guidance you put inside it, it will do different things. So we're back inside Visual Studio. So this is basically if the chamber is open, sorry, if the lever is down, then we're going to open the door. So what we're going to do is if loading slot dot occupant and chamber slot dot occupant, then basically so put a note in here, if chamber loaded, simply open the door. Say if chamber and tray loaded, simply alternate the doors. Actually, what I'll probably do is this. Make it ternary. Now, this is where it gets more complicated. So, if loading slot dot occupant and not something in the chamber, then we want to load torpedo into chamber. We try and do it all event driven so we don't have to watch stuff. So we're going to want to add another one, and we're going to say import. Just so that we cache the reference so it doesn't cost us. So let's just sort of see what that does. And see if that does what I want. So we're sort of using the logic way beyond, I guess, what you might say we've intended. So I'll go back into Unity so we can see what's going on.
Zero G.
So this should just alternate the doors, but it does not, because there's nothing inside there, which is good, I guess. So we put this in, and this should load it. Yep, and when we do that, it should come back out. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, see, I really feel like we need 2 arms, because basically this all becomes a lot simpler if we do that. Because what if there's one in the spout and you want to get it out and load another one? Yeah, so I think we'll probably end the stream because it's a very long stream and stuff like that. But basically, what I'll probably do is I'll just move the model, just change the model just a teensy bit, and put basically 2 levers in. One for moving the chamber forward and back, and one for arming it and stuff like that. Because basically we do want to be able to get it and stuff like that. Oh yeah, good point. Might be also worth flipping the switch orientation around so that it doesn't obstruct the fire button. Yeah, so thanks everybody for the stream. I think it's been a pretty long one, so I might look at doing the rest of this offline, and you'll be able to see the results of it next week when we stream again. So thank you everybody. You can always ask questions on the Discord or on Reddit or on the Steam forums as well. People frequent all those. Bye everyone.